Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the MAP sensor on my 2000 Honda Civic. A MAP sensor is a manifold absolute pressure sensor. I believe this is the precursor before a mass airflow sensor came out. The issues that I'm having is lack of power. I've had the engine light flicker, but I don't have an engine code. I've had an inconsistent idle, a high idle. Sometimes the car won't restart after I've taken it for a short drive. Now, this sensor is original to the car, and the car is at this time 26 years old, and I'm going on 400,000 kilometers or 250,000 miles. Since it's original, I'm gonna roll the dice and go ahead and replace this and see if this fixes my issue. But just based on the timeline itself, the sensor should be replaced. So what we'll do now is material and tools. Or there's a materials list for this job. So latex gloves for our actual part. So this is a Delphi brand. This here is the part number. So this is a sensor. At first glance, it looks comparable. So it has the sensor, and then it also has an O-ring that comes with it. Now, because it doesn't have the screws, be very careful when you loosen off the screws that you don't strip anything. And then to aid in removing the screws, we have penetrating fluid. Guys, this is the materials list for this job, so what we'll do now is a tools list. Or this is the tools list for this job. So for demonstrative purposes, I am going to test the circuit. So we have a multimeter, long pair of needle nose pliers. This has a 45-degree bend, a utility knife, small flathead screwdriver, mechanics mirror, socket set. So there are two number 2 Phillips screws that hold the MAP sensor onto the throttle body, a work light, and then an extension cord. Guys, this is all we need for tools on this job. So let's change out this MAP sensor. Alright guys, first things first, as per usual, make sure that the car is cool. You don't want the car to be warm because you may burn yourself as you're moving around the engine bay. So first of all, there is a vacuum hose here. This goes to the vacuum booster. Right here is a clip. Now this clip is blocking the one screw over here. So the bottom end of this hose needs to be removed. So if you want to know what the clip looks like, just like that. So you have the two wings. So with needle nose pliers, I'm going to compress the wings together and then slide off the vacuum hose. Alright, I managed to move the bracket up. So what I did is I took a small flathead screwdriver on this side here, and then I slid up the bracket while the wings were depressed. Alright, now the couple clip points here can just be removed. Get the hose out of the way. Okay, so there are the two Phillips screws that are holding the MAP sensor on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some penetrating oil, squirt it onto the bolts, and I'm going to give this 10 minutes. And like I said, you got to be very gentle about this because you can strip these things pretty easily. Alright, I took out the screw on the other side, so we'll do this one together. So this is standard threads. Once again, be gentle, because if you strip one of these things, it's not exactly the easiest place to go and fix. Alright, so this is our sensor here. Can be taken off. Now to disconnect the harness, you're going to push here. That's going to lift this end up, and then you can slide the sensor off. Of course, I can't do this while holding the camera. Okay, so there is the O-ring, and then you see the couple screw holes. So that is what needs to be taken out, the O-ring, or you can leave it in. It's entirely up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can use a utility knife just to grab the end of the O-ring. Alright, first thing is, these are the screws. This is the orientation. They're both the same size, so it doesn't matter. So we'll compare our two sensors. They look the same. They look the same. They look comparable. And then this is the new O-ring. So the new O-ring, I'll slide into the groove. And then what we'll do is we'll take a multimeter and check power going to the sensor. Now I fully expect no issues whatsoever because there is not an ongoing consistent problem. It's consistently inconsistent. All right, so here is the plug. So the top one is yellow, the middle one is green, and then the bottom one is red. So if you were to look at it like this, it'll be power on the left, ground in the middle, signal on the right. All right, we're going to take our multimeter, and then our multimeter right here is 20 volts, DCV, which is direct current volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the key into the on position. We're not starting the car, we just need to get power to the plug. And then what I'm going to do is the black lead here, I'm going to ground to the body, and then our red lead here will go to the power pin. Or the car is in the on position, so with the plug will go to the left pin. Sorry, the lead will go to the left pin. And we have 5 volts, which is what we should have. So I'll now go to the signal, which is the right terminal. Once again, we'll ground out. We're at 4.84, which is fine. All right, we'll do one more test. So we'll do continuity. So continuity is this right here. This is for checking for brakes. So I have my 2 leads, they're separated, no continuity. Alright, so you can hear it. I think the battery is dying, but that's okay. So now we'll go to the center pin. Okay, I think the battery is dying for the multimeter, but you would hear a sound. Now, like I said, the car runs fine, so the sensor is working, it's getting power. I think the sensor is just failing, it just hasn't failed yet. Anyways, with that in mind, what I'll do now is I'll put the O-ring back on and we'll go ahead and install the new sensor. Alright, so there is our O-ring. Alright, our new O-ring is in. Okay, so you see the new O-ring is in. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to tighten up the screws on my own. So for torque, it says 1.5 foot-pounds. As I've said very many times before, I don't really torque anything, and most mechanics have told me the same thing. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the sensor connected to the wiring harness first, because it'll be easier to do it now. Alright, so this tab here is what you're going to listen for the click. Okay, it clicked in, give it a tug to make sure that it's nice and solid. And now the sensor can be put back on. So what I recommend is push the sensor on and then get at least one of the screws hand tight where it's relatively snug, because you just don't want to lose the O-ring. Alright, I've gone ahead and tightened up the right screw, so we'll just finish up with the left. There is a lock washer. Once you feel a little bit of resistance, give it maybe 1/8 of a turn because the screw is so small. Alright, so the vacuum hose can be put back on. So here are the wings once again. Now, because the clip has already been slid up, you can slide the whole thing down without an issue. That'll be easy. Put the clip back into the bracket, and then with the long needle nose pliers, slide the bracket, the clip back into place. And I always recommend the indentation on the hose, just put it in the exact same spot to minimize any possibility of a leak. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the car. Alright, now what's going to happen is I'm going to drive it for a few days. I'm going to do my regular thing and I'm going to see if this problem persists or if it's gone away. Other than that, at least for a map sensor for a 2000 Civic, this is how you're going to change it. I'm hoping it's a map sensor even though everything works, because the sensor technically hasn't failed. But again, look at the mileage. The map sensor, as far as I know, is original to the car, so it's well overdue for replacement. But with that in mind, what we'll do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So this went really smoothly. It's relatively easy to get to. You need minimal tools, minimal skills to do this on your own. So a couple things here. This sensor hasn't technically failed, if it's failing at all. I've been driving the car for about a week since I did the actual replacement. All the issues except one time the car didn't start right away. All the other issues have been gone. I haven't had a single problem since doing this replacement. Now, based on the new battery, new spark plugs, and then the cap and rotor for the distributor, this stuff is all within its timeline for replacement. The battery is new. The spark plugs are brand new. Cap and rotor have 35,000 kilometers on it, which is less than the interval for the maintenance. And this is why I say keep track of when you have replaced stuff, so you can at least go after the oldest thing first if you're not quite sure how to go ahead and troubleshoot the problem. As I thought, power is going to the sensor, everything works. There's something that is inconsistently happening here, and this is when it becomes tricky. If you take the car to the mechanic shop in the state it's in and they can't recreate the problem, they're probably going to charge you a diagnostic fee anyway because they looked at the car. So by going after the parts that are the oldest, at least you're going to start with the most likely culprits, and then you can go from there. The time on this job. The time was about an hour. This was quick, simple. You don't need much tools or skills to do this, so it's really user-friendly, and you're going to save yourself at least 1 hour shop rate. The cost of this job. The sensor was $100. Now, I also did call Honda for a genuine Honda part, and the sensor from the dealership was $210 plus tax. So I'm spending less than half the cost of an authentic Honda part, and then I did also have to wait a month for the part to come in. So in my opinion, OEM or Delphi in this case, if you find a reputable part, then you can go ahead and go with that instead of going with Honda genuine parts, because the dealership is not the cheapest place to buy your parts from. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope what I've shown you here is going to help to make your job go that much easier. Guys, so listen, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.